Well, that's where I've learned, like, in the cars I build, I kind of try and piss off the purists. Like the Bronco we did, it had a GM motor in it.
Nice.
It had that supercharged 3.8 V6 out of a Pontiac.
And then you go and everything, yeah.
And then, like, the Willys, instead of treating it like a Jeep, we treated it like a car and added 46 Chevy fenders. The Camaro we're building is getting a full Porsche all-wheel drive drivetrain underneath.
Bloody hell.
Underneath the 69 Camaro.
That's awesome. I love shit like that because it's not what you expect. It's fun. You just do just a normal build. It's like, yeah, it's nice, but you did what to that? That's it. Those are the things that get me excited. I know a lot of people do. So that's amazing, man. Gosh.
Yeah, I like people to, like, when they walk up and they're just like, they give you that, what the fuck? And it's not whether they like it or not. I don't honestly care. But if I get that moment, like, really?
Yeah.
That's what I want, because it makes your brain go, why? And should you? Or is it cool? Is it not cool? Because I want you to have that moment of, like, what's going on with this?
Absolutely. I mean, we're born creative people. We're creators at the core. And if you can't innovate by fusing different things together to make something different, why the hell are we here? And I think it's amazing guys like you do that, because that excites me. That's what, when I go to SEMA, I'm looking for those builds. I'm like, what the hell has been made this year that's just going to blow the fuck away? I mean, I've seen so many different things in the last 10 years we've been going. I'm just like, there's some creative people out there creating stuff like you. And it's just like, that's amazing. It's art to me. And a lot of this stuff is functional as well. And it's got immense power. And when you look at the detail, you're like, there's some talented people in this world, super talented people. And I think there's more credit that's needed for those people. And that's something we want to start to do more going forwards. And when we can get out there more, when this whole COVID thing blows over, we're going to start to dive deeper into people's builds and start to showcase a lot more about the person, like we're having this conversation. So I can't wait to get back out there, because it's exciting, man. I'm so glad that we did it. I'm glad that we have, because otherwise we'd be meeting guys like yourselves. So it's cool, man.
I'm excited. Even this COVID thing has caused good and bad. Like, I'm seeing a lot of guys' dreams fail, and I'm seeing a lot of guys' dreams, start, which to me is really cool. And it's like a lot of guys that I'm talking to, because I've had people reach out to me, because I've been going through a little bit of depression myself and crazy shit going on. And talking to them, and, like, they're relighting my fire. Like, talking to you is relighting my fire. You know what I mean? Because in this industry, we have so much confidence, because we've had so many years of failing, and we're used to it, and we love it, because we're sick, I think. And it's a lot of these new people coming in, they're afraid of the fail. You know what I mean? And being afraid to get out of that box and get a little bit weird and let themselves show through, but that's what's going to get them the attention.
That's so true, man. You couldn't have put it better than I would say. We are so fearful of the, like, what are people going to think of me if I come out like this? It is scary, of course, because you want to be loved by other people. And if you think outside the box, you do something weird, but then you see it in your head and you think, shit, I can't do that. And then people never lift off their dreams. And that's scary. And I get that, because as a kid, I felt that way with a lot of things. I was so shy and introvert that I had these great ideas, and then someone would say, oh yeah, you should do that. And they would make me do it, and I would flunk it because I was so fearful of really embracing that thing to do. And I'm like, yeah, I blew it. And then I'd look back and go, oh, it's such a shame, because I think a lot of us almost have that vision of being the superhero. And I think that's why superhero movies are so powerful to people, because they watch it and envision themselves in the character. But when it comes to real life, they don't walk into that. And I think it's scary, but also it's a shame they can't see on the other side, because I felt this for years, where I thought, I want to be like this, I want to dress a certain way, I want to do this and do this, and I'm still getting there. I'm not exactly 100% where I want to be. I think my character is who I am at the core, and I'm true to myself, but there's a side of me that, like, I want to be this, I want to be more of this, and not like
I call it that guy. I want to be like that guy, because that's the guy I aspire to be. I have the same thing. It's like that guy. That's who I want to be.
100%. I think so many of us are still sitting there going, oh, it's too much work, or it's that fear holding them back to actually try and embrace that. Whereas we can be that superhero. It's crazy, and it's weird because like I'm very passionate about conversations like this because I'm walking it with Carmen just the same. You know, we want to be these people, not like, oh, look at me as a celebrity, not that kind of person. Like, oh, look what we've achieved. It's like when you can see something in your head, this dream and thing that you can have, and you feel it, and you know that you can do it. But then there's that side of you that goes, fuck, but what if it goes wrong? And you're like, shit, but what if it goes right? And the failure part that you mentioned, a lot of these kids now, they're like, some of them, if they don't have the right mental state of growing up and the parents have nurtured them correctly, they will not embrace that fear. They're just like, fuck this, I just can't. It's just like, it's detriment to my, I don't know how, it's like when you grow up, I think as a kid, there's that peer pressure of being the cool kid. And God forbid you do something wrong and they'll laugh at you, that's it, your life's over. And I think a lot of these youngsters are growing up in that space and never embracing it. But then on the flip side, thanks to people like Gary Vee, he's talking to the ones who are going, just fucking do it. Doesn't matter. Embrace the failure, so much so that who gives a shit? Embrace what the haters tell you, because then if you've embraced it and you know it, then you've got nothing to lose. You've got everything to gain. And I've had to learn that a lot along the way because I've always been someone who's been very fearful of failure because I was brought up in certain ways where I knew I had a talent. I was very talented as a young age, but for some reason people saw that and exploited it and then kept me small. But then I used to rebel because I used to be like, no, shit, no, I want to do this. Why the fuck are they telling me I can't do this? Why are they saying that I'm not a cool guy? I'm just a nice guy and I can't be cool and nice at the same time. And I've all these things, I'm like, bullshit. It's not being about ego and look, I'm better than you type thing. This is who I am, but they're seeing that potentially I could do really well. And they exploit the weakness I have of being shy and say, oh, no, you can't do that. And then I'd be waking up 6 months later going, why the hell did I listen to them? That's just like, I'm listening to someone's ego and dream because they can't do it, telling me I can't because they feel they can't.
And
like
it's that voice Gary Vee talks about inside your head, where you just, it's all about being true to you.
It is.
And being who you are and trusting in you.
That's it. And we fear judgment. I mean, that's why people think, oh, I can't have a tattoo. You know, I've had people like, for example, 2 days ago on one of our videos on YouTube, oh, you got a tattoo on your face, well, I'm out. I'm like, well, fuck off then. You're out. You don't like my facial tattoo? My fucking problem. I've got a lot of friends who've got tattoo artists. I've got a lot of people who have tattoos, but just because I have now one on my face, you're instantly telling me that I'm not someone you can like and trust. Well, that's an issue you've got. That's not my problem. And I could take that as like, do you know what? Maybe I should take my tattoo off. And I'm like, no. I thought about my tattoo well. It was never made to offend people. It was actually about positivity and energy and leadership. And through that, I've had positive conversation with random people in the world. And it's been empowering for me. And so people forget that actually when people come at you that way with failure and negativity, it's purely their story trying to imply it onto you. And so then you go in because you have insecurities in your own, you're going, well, maybe they're right. Actually, no. It's probably them trying to say to you that you actually should kick those fuckers back and actually embrace what you're good at. That's where I see now. And it took me a long time to understand that. We'd have never continued Superfly had this inner side of me gone, hang on a minute, why are you listening to these idiots? The reason they're telling you this is because of this and this. It's not you, mate. And I'm like, shit, I didn't see it at the time because I had insecurities. And because you start to then work on yourself like you have over the years, you start to go, I understand why they're doing this and it's not going to be affecting me. You feel a bit strange at first, but you're like, oh, that's okay. That's their opinion. And you push them back and then you still embrace your journey by still pushing forward. If you fail, who gives a shit? It's a learning experience. And then eventually you become that guy that you mentioned that you want to be. Because it's
well, because you always start acting like that guy because that's how you become that guy. You act like you want to be. You follow through with what you want to be. If you want to be that guy that's, does things a certain way, then that's who you got to be, and you start acting that way, and eventually you become that guy. And we all go through the fails and everything like that along the ways, and it's how we deal with failures that defines you as that man.
Totally, 100%. And I think keeping humble all the way through, but you can be what I call as like the humble warrior. You can be a badass and be very positive and not be a badass to people in a bad way, negative way, but also be humble and a real good empathy person with a lot of compassion. Combine those two, you've got the best of both worlds, man. I mean, we've met people that when you look at them, they've got these amazing tattoos and they look really scary, but then you sit down and have a conversation. They're the most intellectual people. They're the most kind-hearted people, and they're just dope. They're like fuse both together. And I always thought growing up that there's too many people who get told they couldn't be that person, they don't want to be that person, but then later on they look at them and go, I wish I could be that way. And I'm like, fuck that, be who you're meant to be. And I think if you don't push yourself out of your comfort zone, you're never going to explore that.